Hey everyone, and welcome to the Reading Nest, where stories remind us who we are, who we can be, and the magic that happens when we embrace our own journey. Um, Today we're going to dive or should I say, fly into a beautiful picture book written by Joanna Gaines, and it's titled "The World Needs Who You Were Made to Be." Um, The funny thing about this book is part of my own storytelling journey of why I started and why I wanted to continue to tell stories and perform stories in the park. Little background about me, and I was like before. I think I said it in one of my previous episodes. I was a theater person. I've always been a theater person. I loved performing, and I love being in front of people to perform because I feel like it makes me happy and it makes them smile and makes them feel good. I stopped performing altogether as when I started teaching. And so I use teaching as my way to tell my stories, get them a laugh, get them, a good time. But I've never actually performed any of my stories that I've memorized and all this stuff by authors um, for them. So this book particularly is one of the stories that I used to do in the parks when I lived in Atlanta. And then they had like pictures of balloons that they would color, and I gave uh, hot air balloon patches out because this story is all about hot air balloons, and I'll get to why it's all about hot air balloons. And you may know that Joanna is from the show Fixer Upper and her Magnolia brand in Target. And it kind of like helps us understand why this book was created from her own family and her own uniqueness in her family because they are a creative family that creates spaces for individuals that embrace their own uniqueness as a family or as an individual when they are helping people fix their homes up. Um So this book, The World Needs Who You Were Made to Be, is like a love letter to her kids to remember that you are who you need to be in this world and don't change for anyone. And reading this book and performing this book helped me understand that I am who I am and I need to embrace that and I need to accept that and love that part of me and even the quirky parts of me because not all the time do I accept them. And having this book helps me understand that I am who I was made to be, and I will always embrace my uniqueness of who I am. So a little bit about the story before we keep going into it. Uh, this book has to deal with hot air balloons. And I know you're like, why hot air balloons? Here's the simple truth about hot air balloons, they're all different. So, this book, The World Needs Who You Were Made to Be, follows children who are creating and designing their own hot air balloons. And each one of them builds it in their own different way. Like some of them are playing with each other as they're building the hot air balloon. So they're like play, build a hot air balloon, and go play. Some children in here are drawing out plans because they are planners, and that's okay because that's just how they are going to design their own balloon. And other ones work in groups, and other ones work by themselves because that's just who they are. And Having that, even like me talking about the book right now and thinking about the students that I teach and understanding that they are all different. I cannot approach them the same way, just like these children can't approach building their hot air balloons the same way. Each one has to be done in a unique way that makes them feel comfortable. And think about this, when we were younger, because when I was younger, I saw a lot of hot air balloons in the sky. Now that I've gotten older and things like that, and I've been places, I rarely see hot air balloons in the sky. But when we saw hot air balloons in the sky, it was beautiful. It was different because not all of them looked the same. So let's think about this. This book is about inspiring us to be unique, different, not the same, think the same, do things differently. So when they fill the sky, they're all different. They're different shapes, different colors, different designs, and it embraces their own uniqueness. But together, it creates this image that is more beautiful than one single hot air balloon can do on its own. So think about it. Like when we used to see all of those hot air balloons in the sky at the same time, or even on TV at the same time, how beautiful it was versus just saying, "Oh, that's a hot air balloon," and losing interest. But then you can see so many different ones and ask, "How did you build this? How did you do this? What made you think this way?" It's the same way I approach my students is, how do I how do I approach you understanding that you are an individual? How did you do this? How did you do that? Tell me, inspire me. This is a simple story that carries a powerful truth that the world is brighter, it's more vibrant, and more loving when we all let everyone's light shine. We can't dim anyone's light because we don't want to accept their own uniqueness. We have to accept our own and let them accept their own and let us shine and let them shine, because that makes the world better when we can see each other for who we are and who they are and understand that. It creates this community of the in the world. And now that we are in this world that we're in now, we need this more than anything. There's a lot of lessons in this, and I'm going to touch on a few. One is our uniqueness matters. Who you are isn't just enough. Who you are has to be essential to everything. It is the foundation of everything. So you have to understand that our own uniqueness matters, because this is how we are going to step into the world. Kindness and collaboration makes the world better. Kindness and collaboration makes the world better. Why? Because when we celebrate each other instead of competing with each other, we create magic. We create community. We create safe spaces for everyone. And the last one is understanding that, yes, these balloons are unique, but the children that created these balloons were all diverse, who created diverse balloons that were all unique to them. So diversity is beautiful. And this story reminds us that our differences aren't something to hide. They makes us stronger, like I said, as a community. We can't hide these things. We just have to embrace these things. So, here are some things that I want to give to the children, the kids, however you want to call them that are listening, um, or even if you're not listening. You don't have to be like anyone else to be amazing. You don't have to be like anyone else to be amazing. And you can take up space, be bold, be creative, and trust that there is a place for you. And last but not least, it's okay to build your balloon your way. Listen to what I said. It's okay to build your balloon your way because the world needs your colors in its sky. And for my adults, don't think I forgot about you. I did not. Grown-ups, adults, there's a quiet invitation in these pages for us. Somewhere along the way, many of us forgot that our own individuality is a gift. We became part of the box. We tried to fit inside this box and tone down who we are to keep the peace, to be accepted. Why? This book whispers to us as adults the world needs who you are were made to be too. This book is not just made for children, and I guarantee you Joanna got a lot out of this book as she was writing this for her children. And it will challenge us to embrace our quirks, our talents, and our own individual stories. We have to show that our children, our students, whoever we're with, that we are helping guide through the world, that we are an example of courage and authenticity. We have to be that for our kids. I do have to say that I not only live by this, I kind of try to tell everybody that you have to be who you are because you have to, because it is something that we can't change for anyone. Everybody will see who we are. I mean, I've even tried to like fit inside a box and tone down my light to let someone else's light shine and not embrace my own uniqueness to let my light shine. And understanding that my light sometimes might be brighter than yours. So my balloon might be a little bit brighter than yours, might be a little bit different than yours. And it's okay. When you're with your child, your spouse, your loved ones, or whatever, here's some like, things to think about that you can even spark a conversation with them. If you're with your friends and you're an adult, you can ask them, like, hey, I was reading this book to my kid the other night, and I got it off this podcast called The Reading Nest. I'm gonna, put myself out there. I got it off this podcast called The Reading Nest, and it's by Joanna Gaines. And I did not know she wrote a book, and it was a while ago she wrote this book. It's called The World Needs Who You Were Made to Be. And I want to know what makes you unique, what makes your children unique. You can ask your children this, you can ask your spouse this, you can ask friends this, family this. And then since you explain this book to them as about hot air balloons and how hot air balloons are different, they show the individuality of the person who created and designed the balloon. And you go, what's your hot air balloon that your hot air balloon thing that you can bring into the world? My hot air balloon thing I can bring into this world is making sure that I can get these stories that I feel like should inspire your family and you into your hands and into your hearts and into your homes so you can continue to grow. And another one is, how can you celebrate someone else's uniqueness? Activities you can do, you can color with your kids and, ask them, why did you do this? This is cool. What makes this different from mine? Children are the most creative individuals when you let them be creative. I'm going to end here on all of this because I think that we've touched on enough of like why this book is inspiring and inspirational. I know when I have like guests on the show, it goes a little bit longer. So I try to make sure that when I'm speaking, like it doesn't go as long as like 15, 20 minutes. And when I have guests, I try to do like a 25, 30-minute show just to give y'all a little bit extra. So yeah, I'm ending a little fat early than I normally do in some of my episodes because I either have a guest or I don't have a guest, and I'm okay with that because this story is something that I wanted to speak to you all about. So, oh, before I end, you guys like my shirt? It's hold on, I'm gonna stand up a little bit. It's Powerline from the Goofy movie. I have two of these shirts. I found this shirt in the Newberry Comics. I think it was Newberry Comics, and I had to get this shirt. So shout out to Newberry Comics for having the Powerline T-shirt for the night. Um, so let's wrap it up. This story isn't just for little readers; it's for all of us. It's to remind us that the world needs us exactly just the way we are. So this week, let's all take a moment to step into the truth. Be bold in our colors, celebrate neighbors, and together let's make this world a beautiful place. And as beautiful as the sky in Joanna Gaines's book. So thank you for joining me here at the Reading Nest. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep reading, and remember, your journey matters. Bye.